Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our City Council meeting. This is the first one for the month of December. Happy holidays to everyone. We'll be starting off our meeting today with the opening prayer to be led by Pastor Missy Blumenthal from Trinity United Methodist Church. Thanks for being here, ma'am. And the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Cadet Sydney Askew from Northside High School JROTC. Welcome as well. Go Eagles. I officially call today's meeting to order. We did not call it to order yet. We're going to start with the opening prayer led by, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thanks. Please stand.
Holy Father, we ask for the presence of the Holy Spirit to come upon the men and women in this room as the City Council of Warner Robins meets to make plans and address issues within our community. We pray that you would bless us all with wisdom and that you would give wisdom and strength to our Mayor, LaRhonda Patrick, as she leads our city. We know that without your presence and a deep in our bones relationship with you, all man's plans fail. It is your leading that makes this council so effective as these servants seek to make our city better and safer. Take us and all those around us in safety through this holy season, this holiday season. Bless and protect those whose stated purpose it is to serve and protect our community, the first responders and their families who do such a great service to our city. Bless and protect those who serve our nation in military service and their families who keep our shores protected. We pray for shelter and safety for those who have no place to lay their heads at night and for the wisdom to help them where we can. We pray for those who are living in food insecurity, who must find alternate shelter where they can, who need the generosity of our hearts to help them survive. Help our city to find effective and even creative ways to meet their needs. Thank you for the fine women and men serving on the council who will meet that challenge. We honor and we praise you and we love you. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Council will go take our photos. Pastor Missy Blumenthal, thank you so much for leading us in prayer. If you'll come to the middle so we can get a photo with you, and Cadet Askew will follow. I officially call today's meeting to order. Next, we move towards our proclamations, awards, and presentations. We have two today. One is a recognition for the Warner Robins Fire Department, and the second is a swearing in for some of our new police officers. So for the Warner Robins Fire Department recognition, Chief Wright, if you will please come forward.
Chief Dixon. Okay, this evening we have a crew from Engine 7 being recognized for valor. They actually effected a save, what we call a save, but they saved a life during a fire incident, and we're recognizing them for this evening. Chief Dixon, if you would come forward, please.
Good evening. Yes, on the morning of August 25th, at 10 minutes after midnight, fire department units were dispatched to a possible structure fire with a victim that was unable to exit the structure. Engine 7, Engine 8, Ladder 8, Engine 5, Squad 3, Battalion 1, and Training 2 were all dispatched to this location. Engine 7 arrived on scene to find smoke flames coming from the Alpha and Delta side of the structure. With an occupant standing in the front door in an IDH environment. Lieutenant Travis Keene, he rolled command to the next incoming unit and moved the first occupant to a safe location in the front yard. At this point, Lieutenant Keene and firefighter Terrence Weidman entered the structure to perform a search for the remaining occupant. The victim was found laying in a bed with conditions deteriorating. They moved the victim to the floor to avoid increasing the heat and smoke conditions while removing the patient or victim from the burning structure. As the rescue was taking place on the inside, Engineer Jose Torres was on the outside making sure that hose lines were charged and in place, and once it was confirmed that they were bringing the victim out, he moved to provide patient care in the front yard until EMS personnel arrived and took over patient care. The victims were transported to the hospital for the emergency care. We would like to say thank you for a job well done to Lieutenant Travis Keene, Engineer Jose Torres, and firefighter Terrence Weidman.
All right, now we're going to have swearing in for some new police officers. Chief Fisher, if you will please come forward. Everybody. All right. So we will now be conducting the oath of office that these four gentlemen will be repeating for us to signify them being a new member of the Warner Robins Police Department. So Council and I welcome you, and we're excited to have you as part of the team. All right, so in front of you is your oath. You can either hold it or read it as it's on the table. I will be saying some words. You will be repeating after me. Even though it's separated by paragraphs, please know that I will not say the whole paragraph, and pay attention to the last word I say, because that's where you will pick up when it's your turn. All right, so also when I say I will not be stating a name, and each of you have a name. Make sure you have the right paper in front of you. Perfect. All right, so I will start now. I'm going to ask each of you if you'll please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I hereby swear or affirm
I, Sean Gross, hereby swear or affirm
that I will faithfully, fairly, and without malice
that I will faithfully, fairly, and without malice
or partiality
or partiality
uphold the laws of the state of Georgia,
uphold the laws of the state of Georgia,
as well as any ordinances
as well as any ordinances
which I am authorized to enforce
which I am authorized to enforce
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of Georgia.
and the Constitution of Georgia.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
that I am not the holder of any unaccounted for public money
that I am not the holder of any unaccounted for public money
due the state of Georgia
due to the state of Georgia
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
or authority thereof.
or authority thereof.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
that I am not the holder of any office of trust
that I am not the holder of any office of trust
under the government of the United States,
under the government of the United States,
any other state,
any other state,
or any foreign state,
or any foreign state,
which I am by the laws of the state of Georgia
which I am by the laws of the state of Georgia
prohibited from holding.
prohibited from holding.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
that I am qualified to hold the office of police officer
that I am qualified to hold the office of police officer
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and the laws of the state of Georgia,
and the laws of the state of Georgia,
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Georgia.
and the Constitution of the state of Georgia.
I further swear or affirm
I further swear or affirm
that I will obey all the laws of the city of Warner Robins,
that I will obey all the laws of the city of Warner Robins,
the state of Georgia,
state of Georgia,
any other state,
any other state,
and the United States of America, so help me God.
and the United States of America, so help me God.
Congratulations. Dated 12/1/2025. All right, and then pass it to me. Yours. Welcome to the team. Thank you, Mom. Welcome. Congratulations. Welcome and congratulations. Appreciate it. Okay, so now what you all are going to do is you're going to turn around so you can take a picture holding up your paper so your family can be so proud. I'm not going to say it. I'll just go. Thanks. All right. Congratulations to members of our public safety, that is the Warner Robins Fire Department and Warner Robins Police Department, on their accomplishments. Next up is our work session items. Mr. Drinker will come forward to discuss some items, but the first thing we're going to discuss is going to be the agenda for today. Council, you've had a chance to review. Please move forward with any questions or comments you'd like to make about the agenda items on today's agenda.
Council members, before we get to questions, I would like to go ahead and bring Darren Curtis up to address the 3 land use cases on tonight's agenda. I know those are typically ones that generate questions, and Mr. Curtis will be able to do a review of those and likely answer any questions that you may have if you're agreeable to that. All right, Mr. Curtis.
Yeah, it's the rut. Any particular order? Okay. All right, starting with the rezoning application on behalf of Orchard Investment Properties. This is a little over 55 and a half acre property located off of Robert Bryson Smith Parkway, south of the Highway 96 intersection. And the present zoning of this property, it's actually a split zoned property. And so it consists of property zoned R3 as well as property zoned R4. The request is to rezone this property for a planned development district for residential use, a PDR, and they intend, if approved, to construct 201 residential units in a single-family detached style layout. The property is intersected by a stream, so there's 2 independent sections of this proposed development, one of which, the smaller, being a 30-unit section and the larger being a 171-unit section for a total of 201 units. They are accessible only from Robert Bryson Smith Parkway. The smaller section has a proposed pavilion area as an amenity. The larger section has a proposed playground amenity. They will not share internal connection, but along Robert Bryson Smith Parkway, they are proposing to extend sidewalk to allow pedestrian connectivity. Happy to answer questions about that one.
I have something, Mr. Curtis.
Sure.
So currently, that was zoned, correct me if I'm wrong, and I may be jumping ahead, but originally, there were going to be several hundred apartments there on the frontage, and then there were going to be small homes behind it. I'm not saying anything against apartments, but I found this to be a more pleasing adjustment, as long as we know what's going to be going on there. I know that you mentioned the stream area, and the whole area needs improvement as far as stormwater drainage goes, because it's impacting the Wellston Hills neighborhood as well. And so that was one of my concerns. And then the other concern was that it be amicable to that neighborhood that it touches. And in talking, and I don't know if anyone representing the developers here tonight, but I would certainly like to give them opportunity to address those things.
Sure. To your first point, yes, there were apartments previously proposed on that site. I believe that plans were, at the time, this has been a few years ago, basically tentatively approved, provided that once the utility capacity was established, it required a number of upgrades. Those upgrades have since been completed, but the apartment investor eventually backed out of the property. So yes to that, and this is we would look at it as a significant decrease in the impact of that overall property. The apartment was of similar density, but it only encompassed about half of this 55 acres. So potentially you could have wound up with a higher density. I will say that in regards to the stream and the surrounding area, as with any planned development district, we do a critical, thorough review on the staff level. There are several considerations within this development that we made specifically for the surrounding areas, and those included additional buffering from distance from one property to the next between the two neighborhoods, and also privacy fencing along Robert Bryson Smith Parkway. So it's not gonna be, at least from a design perspective, we wanted to make sure that they were good neighbors, and the product that they eventually revised and presented as the final proposal, staff recommends approval. Planning Commission recommended approval as well. So, and I do believe there is an applicant present to discuss that.
Has there been any discussion on the southwest corner as well? That additional piece of property that they own?
Southwest corner.
Their frontage street, part of their property?
Along Highway 96? Yes. So that property is currently zoned C2, general commercial. It is not proposed as part of this request to change zoning, so it will remain C2. We've not been presented with any sort of plan as far as proposals for any use of that property, that portion of this property. Would you like to hear from the applicant now in the work session? Okay. All right.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Braun with Axis Engineering Consultants here in Warner Robins. You want me to just tell you a little bit of what I think, or you want to have an actual comment on question?
Well, I was primarily interested in the development itself and how it would compare to the surrounding area as far as curb appeal. A lot of the houses, and all of them in Wellston Hills, are brick. want to understand, will there be brick involved in this particular development?
Yes, sir. I can't particularly answer that question to the fullest. I represent the developer, not the builder. And in this situation, those are two different people. But as far as the plan overall, there is a lot of green space. You'll see if you have a copy of the site plan, we're significantly off the perimeter boundaries. We're doing some grading there. It creates a nice buffer to not have impact to the surrounding areas. We do have 3 access points, with deceleration lanes. We do feel like this is more of a down zoning in some aspects, depending on how you look at it. It is a planned development, so if there are any changes, we would have to come back for approval, which is, it gives the city a lot of control in this application that we feel like. I think too, as far as the stream buffers go, there is a state stream buffer of 25 feet. We've also shown the 75-foot buffer on this plan, which is coming up in the city's new ordinances for impervious areas. So we don't have any impervious area within the 75-foot limits, which does help with the stormwater question that was arised earlier. We do have fencing along Robert Bryson where we have any lots that back up there, so you won't see any backyards there. We do have sidewalks along Robert Bryson Smith to help. I know there's some school traffic that walks that road as well, so that should help improve that situation.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, counsel.
Have you done any hydraulic studies and stormwater drainage studies for that area?
We have not gotten that far with this project, but we will be doing that. We'll have to do all the hydrology, we'll have to do downstream analysis. We'll have to do all of those items that's part of the city's ordinance to get a land disturbance permit.
So if we to change the zoning for that residential that you plan and the hydraulic studies come back bad, what's the fix? Are you prepared? Is that within our scope of responsibility here?
Yes, sir. So obviously, if something came up and the hydrology didn't work, we would have to come back for a site plan change for an approval, right? If you see on our map there, we've got some shaded light blue area. That is our reserved area for stormwater management. You can see it along the creek there. That area is being reserved for stormwater management. So, yes, sir.
I know Mr. Curtis is up here, and you may be able to answer this too, but will this help water drainage from up the hill from the other subdivision? Will there be any connectivity there to help and assist with that?
Yes, sir. So when we look at this site, we'll have to look at the adjacent property as well, right? The drainage basin as a general, we can't just isolate ourselves. We have to look upstream and downstream. Obviously, if water comes onto our property, we have to do something with it. And also part of the city's ordinance is a downstream analysis. It's called a 10% rule, which is part of the Georgia Stormwater Management Manual. So we do have to do those things and look at, do we have any impacts downstream of us, any structures downstream? So, do we have to over-detain sometimes? All of those functions come into play along with our water quality requirements as well.
I said, well, we've learned our lesson over time, so hopefully we'll continue to get better at overcompensating or making for additional space if needed.
Yes, sir. It all depends on the hydrology, and looking at the basin overall is definitely a good benefit to look at.
Thank you.
Councilman, if I could, I'm going to jump in for just a quick second. You posed the question about construction materials. And Mr. Braun spoke to the fact that that's not a question he is able to answer. As part of the zoning process, you do have the ability to place conditions of zoning on a property. So if you wanted to look at something like requiring minimum 3 sides of each unit to be brick, stone, cementatious material, et cetera, that is within your purview to do. I know that's not something you've traditionally done here. It is done in a lot of communities. Something to keep in mind is, when you do things like that, anything that you do with respect to specifying building materials, especially if it's brick, stone, things like that, elevates cost. So you have to keep that in mind as you're balancing, because I know one of the things that you want to do here is promote home ownership, and that price gets into that. So it's a balancing act that you have to go into. But if it is something that you would be interested in doing, you certainly can place a condition like that on a project.
I would prefer to work with the builder because, 100% brick is not necessarily the most appealing.
Correct.
A combination certainly would be. Of course, everybody has their own opinion, but I would like to be able to work, moving forward, to be able to work with them on that. I've been told that this would be at least partially brick.
So another way to handle it would be to require that the builder of the product come back either before council or submit to staff elevations, and those elevations have to be approved. And that gives you the opportunity to interact with the builder. If that is an approach you want, however, you still want to place that condition on this action. Otherwise, that door closes. So it's something to be cognizant of. I think I may have made our city attorney a little nervous with that one.
No, not nervous. I just want to make sure that we're clear in our understanding that if you wish to put any condition on your motion to rezone, it needs to be explicitly stated and part of your motion and voted on by you unanimously. Otherwise, idle conversation to the side will not be a stipulation that will run with the property. If you want it to be an explicit stipulation regarding the use of the property, as like those you have just discussed, will you please make it part of your motion, and then it would have to pass unanimously. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You can move on to the next property.
Do you have something for this? Yes. Go ahead.
So I don't want to talk about annexation, I want to talk about growth. This project is only happening because y'all approved last year for us to do the sewer project. Me and Mr. Wingate's probably been working on it for about 3 or 4 years. So this is part of your growth that y'all approved that we're seeing, and I'm going to bring that to your attention every time we have growth that is part of our big major plan and the $24 million we're spending to bring that growth. So this is part of it. This is one of the first phases that we're seeing big growth from, and we got more to come. So.
Monty, I remember us discussing this very development years ago concerning sewer when you said, hey, we have to do this first. So thank you for reminding us.
Thank you, Mr. Walters. He's our utilities director, water and sewer. All right, back to you, Mr. Curtis.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if you don't mind, can I add real quick on this? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Didn't mean to cut off there. The main focal point for me on this is that we are looking at going from what was originally planned as being an apartment complex, which you're looking at hard structure, which runoff is way worse, to actual residential lots, which is going to make it a lot easier, relatively easier to handle. And the fact that we've got another, one of my favorite little gems, which is a PDR, which, as you all know, there can't be changes unless we approve. So weighing down, one thing I really want to caution on is we do a lot of talking about what we want to see, and we all have a great vision, but we make law, we make rules, we make ordinances right now that if we're not here in a couple of years and somebody else gets a hold of them, they could be taken a whole lot differently. So we need to be careful with what we do in these moments and what stipulations we place, because it's not for the immediate, and we're thinking about the immediate effect, but 10 years down the road, what happens with the council that's up here at that point if they take them and run roughshod over the entire community with them? So we need to be very, very careful when we talk about adding in stipulations. So.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, back to you, Mr. Curtis.
All right, thank you. I'll just move on to the next. It's the annexation by qualified investment opportunities. These are 2 vacant properties along a public right-of-way called Lion Drive. And Lion Drive is unimproved. There's no roadway built there. It's vacant, but it is a public right-of-way nonetheless. And so as a vacant public right-of-way, you know, it is, from what we've found in our research, seemingly owned by the city. And we've actually approached Houston County about it. They do not appear to have that in their in roadway inventory. And I mention that because as part of this request, and not a part of tonight's action, I just want to make a quick mention that the petitioner of this request, should this annexation be approved, will eventually return for requesting approval that right-of-way be abandoned. Currently, it like I said, it serves no purpose, no access. All the properties along the frontage of that are accessible otherwise, and so that is part of their request. But focusing just on the properties at hand, they are vacant. They also are directly adjacent to an existing mobile home park. It's called Kristen Point Mobile Home Park, from what I understand. And so that property is technically a legally non-conforming use of that land, in that the zoning code no longer would otherwise provide a way to operate a mobile home park on that property. As such, it's essentially grandfathered. I will make mention that the petitioners did initially contact the city with the intent to expand and improve the existing mobile home park, but it was upon further review that we discovered that there is a restriction to that land as far as its use with residential mobile homes. And so because of that, we have just continued to work with the petitioner. We have offered to, bend over backwards to help them in realizing whatever eventual plan they have. What they have expressed to us since then is that because the property's in the county and they own the surrounding properties which are in the city, they would prefer to deal with one jurisdiction, not both jurisdictions. And so this specific request is simply for the annexation of the property at the current zoning with no immediate plan to develop anything. So as the property is zoned C1 in the county, the request is to annex it at the zoning of C1 in the city.
Mr. Curtis, I'm looking at the map, and on the agenda it says east of Alberta, but it looked like it's in between 247 and North Davis Drive. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay. I just want to be clear because of what it states on the agenda.
All right. The next request is for annexation and rezoning of property along the west side of Lake Joy Road, and the parcels together total almost 26 acres, 25.924. The request is again a planned development district. The current zoning of the property being residential agricultural. This plan incorporates a number of different uses. Namely, it is a mixed use loft apartment style community over top retail units, in addition to a residential section that's a standard residential subdivision, single family, detached, and then there is a small apartment facility there. There's an on-site amenity with a pavilion and a clubhouse and pool, I believe. I will just encourage you too that if you have specific questions related to the construction of that, we do have a representative from the petitioner present. But otherwise, this This plan has been recommended for approval. It has been done so with the understanding that the petitioner is to commission a study regarding the prospect of a traffic signal at the intersection of where this property is accessible from Lake Joy Road, which is directly across the intersection of Lake Joy and Beulah Church Road, and to basically assess the the need for a traffic signal there. It's our hope that as the intersection of 96 and Lake Joy Road, and especially the frontage of Lake Joy Road is heavily congested, that potentially a signal there could be useful in mitigating the impact of future developments and obviously this development. But we do also look ahead to potential improvements along that stretch of Lake Joy Road. So, yes, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't want to get ahead, but why would there even be a question about a street light there? We know that that's going to be necessary for this development and other developments moving forward. I know we technically may have to do the study first, but I can't see how that wouldn't be warranted.
We, as staff, we agree. Obviously, to expend taxpayer dollars, we want to conduct the proper studies. To be able to justify what we believe is true of that specific stretch of Lake Joy. And so, as part of that, the developer has already begun commissioning a study. And so, again, he's making the motion at me, so I assume he's got something to say about it. But we do know that as part of this, we expect that to be included eventually. The county also did recently at their commissioners meeting concur with this request.
All right, thank you.
So can we hear from him real quick?
I was just going to ask the petitioner.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead of you, Mayor.
You're good.
I know you guys are going to talk about it a lot, but I want you to jump right into that traffic light.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead, knock it out.
Yeah. So yes, a traffic study has been finished. The report does say it warrants a traffic light. So we can make that clear here today that we have that study and it does warrant a traffic study.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening, Mayor, Council. I just wanted to come up here. I'm Dylan Wingate with Patriot Development Group, the developer of the project. We're excited to bring this into the city of Warner Robins. We think it's going to be a very unique project to the area, and I want to give you my commitment on us, not only doing the traffic study, but fully installing the traffic light in that area to make sure that we mitigate any type of traffic issues, coming to and from this development or anything that may be in question. So we are going to handle that on our development side and make sure that's paid for through our side, because we're the ones putting the development there and want to make sure that we, bring a good quality development to the area, but also don't bring a burden to the existing residents around it either.
So let me ask this question again. I want to reiterate that. Are you saying that you're going to pay for the traffic light to go there, Mr. Wingate?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for your commitment with doing that, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, that appears to be the last of the rezoning and the annexation. Are there any other things you'd like to share, Mr. Curtis?
And I maybe just didn't state it, but the staff did recommend approval. Planning Commission subsequently recommended approval of that project as well. So,
thank you.
Before you walk away, the safety of the kids when you put this many buildings up, and you put up, talking about approving a lot of buildings, the safety of the kids. Have you talked with anybody from the school board in terms of the routes and where these kids are going to be picked up, sidewalks, and things of that nature?
The plan does incorporate internal sidewalks, so the residents will have access to a network of sidewalks, which will ultimately connect even along Lake Joy Road, which has an existing network of sidewalks. Obviously, there are things that are established along Lake Joy Road that maybe were built without sidewalk. It's our intent to require new incoming developments that are occurring presently to have a network of sidewalks. But what we do on the staff level is we provide the information to the Board of Education for their review, and we solicit input from them or concerns if they have any. There were none received as part of this request, but what I do know is that typically it's more of a chicken and egg situation where when the city, being the chicken, approves a given project, it is then the responsibility of the school board to properly plan on how they'll route their buses.
Mr. Curtis, I hear what you're saying, but the bottom line, talking about who's the chicken, when it's all said and done, and this is not incorporated, the people are going to fill this building up on us. Why we did not require that. So I'm going to ask that you and your group look into this and be sure that it's mentioned, not only mentioned, that it's written in somewhere that the safety of these kids is taken care of by the developer.
I think whenever we're doing new developments in our city overall, we should be sure we're communicating with the school board, as I know we are, really pressuring them to pick up the kids in the safest manner possible in all developments. We see the different pickup locations and drop-offs where kids are walking through active commercial parking lots, and I don't agree with that. I know it's not our job. It's a school board's job to make sure our kids are safe. So we want to make sure we're very vocal with the school board and telling them this is what we want to see from you as taxpayers. We're taxpayers as well, to make sure the school board is doing their part to pick up the kids inside of a community instead of having them walk across that commercial area, as we have seen in other places in our city.
So I mean, one thing I will jump out and mention is that, prior to action by City Council, consideration could be made to add a stipulation if there needs to be a bus stop or, a specific part of this development where it's, reserved for that sort of thing. And then it would be an easier, once the design is finalized, it'd be easier to coordinate with the school board in that regard. So obviously, having it pass the staff level review at this point, that would be my recommendation, is that if there is a lingering concern, that something to that effect be included as a either by tabling it for a revision to that effect or a stipulation.
I think that the onus is on the school board, not on us, when it comes to where their bus stops are. But I think what Councilman was saying and what I'm saying is that for the City of Warner Robins perspective, we are telling the school board what needs to happen when it comes to the safety of children going onto school buses and off of school buses, and they are responsible for finding out where the school bus stops are. So I know we don't need a stipulation on this particular thing, but it's great to bring that to all of our attention as Warner Robins continues to grow, and our expectation on our school board to do the right thing and not the easy thing when transporting, picking up and dropping off our children. So that's a battle we have to fight with the school board, but I think council and I are all in agreement that it needs to happen. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, we can address that pretty easily. We have very good ongoing communication now with the superintendent's office on a regular basis, and I can certainly take that up as a matter of conversation with the superintendent, and we'll be happy to do so.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Real quick, sir. Do we need to change the verbiage on item number 6 to read North Davis instead of Alberta Road?
Yes, sir. Does everybody understand? So on, on the agenda on item 6, it currently references qualified investment opportunities, 0.59 acres, Lions Drive west of Highway 247 and east of Alberta Road. Change that to west of Highway 247 and east of Davis Drive, and you'll be safe. North Davis, yes, sir.
All right, are there any other items on the agenda that we would like to discuss as a group, council?
Number 6, Madam Mayor.
Number 6, we just did it.
That's
I'm sorry, number 8, my apologies.
Okay. Okay, so this is a $1.3 million improvement at our Sandy Run Creek water pollution control plant. So I'll give you the high level, and then if you want to get down into the gory, dirty details, I'll bring Monty forward. He's our expert and can go to a level that he can lose me in a heartbeat if he wants to. Let's just be honest. But so effectively at that plant, we currently have a rotary dryer drum. If you think about this, it's not exact, but a good way to think about it is a spin cycle on a wash machine, right? So it's designed to rotate and spin the fluid out and leave dry material behind. So we're drying out the sludge so that we can take the sludge off site. And it's part of preventing water contamination going into creeks, et cetera. The existing rotary drum was installed in 2013, and it was designed to handle 400 million gallons per day. 400 gallons per minute per day. And it is currently underperforming, so it needs to be replaced. The city went out for bid on that. It was a competitive bid process. We received 3 responses to that bid. Parish Construction was the low bid on that project. Now, I will say that the difference in cost between the highest and lowest bidder was $144,153. So on a $1.3 million project, that's not a lot. All of the bidders were very close in their numbers. But Parish was the low bidder. They have performed work like this before and performed it successfully. Beyond that, of the 3 bidders, all 3 had to submit supplemental information. The other 2 bidders did not submit it, so they were effectively disqualified. So if you do not wish to move forward with the recommended vendor, we would need to rebid the project. And there is a little bit of time sensitivity. I know and understand fully that there is a history with Parish Construction. I'll just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. What I will say to that, the company has done very good work around the state. They're known to me before I ever got here. Like any contractor, a contractor is as good as you manage them. So if you want to make sure a contractor does the work well, you have to stay on top of that contractor. You have to draw a line in the sand. Certainly, any construction project, you can run into issues in the field that could not be foreseen. And that's when you deal with change orders, right? But I understand that there have been extensive change orders with this contractor in the past. That gets down to construction management. And to be blunt, it's one thing to have a 10% change order on a project of this size. Substantial change orders early in a process, in my book, that means that the project shuts down, the contract is pulled, and the project is rebid. And that is contract management.
So thank you for that explanation, but
Yes, sir.
as I'm looking at the bidder sheet, their bid was $1.56 million, but on the
Yes, sir.
staff report is 1.3. So
Correct.
is there a history of bidding low and then coming back with the unpredictable after they've obtained the contract with getting more money out of us?
So as,
with that?
as noted in the staff report, sir, the original bids included an alternate that could be removed at the city's discretion. The city did choose to remove the alternate, and that applied to all bids across the table. And that's why there's a difference between the 1.5 that was in the original bid and the 1.3, because that alternate was removed. That was not a decision by the bidders, that was a decision by the city.
Is Monty going to be over the project?
Monty is over all utility projects. I will be working closely with Monty anytime you deal with a project of this size. I'm not going to be too far removed, but Monty will be our main guy in the field on this. He knows utilities better than anybody we have, and I would argue better than anybody in the state. Yeah, in the field, I trust nobody more than I trust Monty.
Can I ask Monty a question? Can I ask Monty a question?
Definitely,
Yes.
Monty.
Your expertise, just like he stated. Just like he stated, there has been significant, there's been a history in the past with this contractor with the change orders. In your professional opinion, do you foresee any change orders in this project?
Only if I institute them, probably. So the option we looked at, which saved us some money, when I found out that they added the option, the engineers, I worked there for 11 years and was in charge of maintenance. So been dealing with that place for 40 years. When I found out they were going to put a turbo mixer to mix up sludge that's already been mixed up, the reasoning behind it was because we used to put septic tanks in there. And the septic tanks would put sand and silt and dirt and it would pile up. But once we cleaned that out and we upgraded the plant, we run all that through the main area now that has the sand removal and all that. So that was part of the original design that we would put the turbo mixer, spend another $1 million. No, we didn't do that. So I took that out after I looked at what the engineers had designed and put out for bid. But we did put it as an option. So we also, what they're doing, they're taking the structure and making it twice as big. We're putting one unit on there, but we're preparing for the future when we have to do our next upgrade. That we already have the electrical panels run, the electrical, the actual mount is already there. It's about a 40-foot in the air, and it's got this 40-foot long piece of equipment on it. Well, in the future, we're going to have two there, but right now, we're going to put one that'll do the work of two. All these sewer projects are going to bring in more capacity. All this growth is going to bring in more growth. We're going to have to do a plant upgrade probably within the next 5 to 6 years. We're going to upgrade that plant to about 16 million a day. And when you talk about growth and design and all the work, all the growth we're going to see, there's going to be a day when we don't have no more land to grow. So our plan, our last 20-year plan, provided all the sewer, everything we needed to provide all the growth that we'll ever have in any land that's available to the city, unless we annex out farther. So our plan is right on track. We got the money, we're doing everything. This is a small piece of the big picture of what we're looking at over the next 6 years, probably.
So no major change orders that you can foresee?
Not unless I initiate it.
All right.
Because
Yes,
I
sir.
can tell you, if they don't build it just like we need it, it's just like we told them to build it, there won't be any change orders. We looked at everything that could possibly go wrong that we would possibly need, and we incorporated it into this project.
Then you say you good, I'm good.
All right?
Thank you, Monty.
You're welcome.
Yeah, he tricked you totally.
You'll never get a yes or no answer, but you'll always learn things in a conversation with Monty,
Yes.
every time.
All right, we have actually have less than a couple of minutes, but are there any other items that you all want to discuss on our agenda during this work session?
Madam Mayor, I would like for Mr. Drinkett, if you will, to hit 3 and 9
3 and 9, okay, so the entirety of the consent agenda and the resolution for an amendment to the PSA for 1001 South Young Avenue. I'll hit that one first because that's quick and easy. So 1001 South Young Avenue, we want to extend the investigation and review period on environmentals. It would typically end on December 30th. We're asking, and the current owner is agreeable to extending that to January 30th for additional environmental inspection and investigation. That additional work is necessary so that we can keep the property in the Georgia Brownfields program, which we definitely want to do because that opens us up to state funds. All right, so the consent agenda.
Mr. Drinkard, for consent agenda 2, if you kind of like summarize them together, like for example, 3D through F,
Yes,
benefits, to make it a quick summary. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So 3C, the home occupations, you will recall when we made the change to the home occupation ordinance. Cobb County. Is that's the previous agenda. So the last meeting's agenda had an item from Cobb County for the fire department that dealt with some hydraulics that Cobb County was donating. Is that what you're talking about? That's the last meeting. That's not tonight's meeting. Miss Stella's on her way over. So Miss Stella was mentioning to me before the meeting that there was a problem printing some of the packets tonight. Okay, so home occupations, the quick dirty of that, even with the changes that we made, making most home occupations administrative, anything dealing with a home daycare still has to come in front of mayor and council because that has the most potential for impacts. We have items D, E, and F. Those are all insurance-related items. It deals with the renewal of the contract with our employee assistance program. We did look at other options with that. However, those all had significantly higher costs, so we're recommending going back to the current vendor. We have the Georgia Firefighters Cancer Benefit Program. That cancer coverage is required under state law, OCGA Section 25-3-23, and GERMA is the most cost-effective. Yes, ma'am.
This is an annual renewing contract,
Yes.
a service that we use every year, that we work with GMA to identify and recoup all franchising fees which are due to the city.
That's
Telecommu-
actually
I'm sorry.
that's the next.
The city attorney's.
That's a little further down. That's the city attorney's item.
I'm sorry.
Nope, you're good. So then, and then we have our third-party administration and additional coverage on workers' compensation, pretty standard. Again, we looked at other vendors. This was the most cost-effective. We have a natural gas amendment with the agreement with Frito-Lay that just deals with the minimum pressure on that line. No other changes. A utilities agreement with Utility Service Company. That is a $29,510 add. That takes the new water tank out at the industrial park and puts it onto our maintenance program. So all of the standard things that we do with that, annual inspections, interior cleaning, emergency services, et cetera. Also related to utilities, the Ardura amendment at $108,000. That is additional engineering and legal work on that Kroger Bon Air line and the 33 remaining parcels for acquisition. And then you have an item that's with United Systems and Software. That deals with encoders that attach to the meters that allow us to do remote monitoring and meter reading. You've got uniforms for the police department. That's item K at $110,400. That's an annual contract, and it's, you know, it may be that, it may be a little less, it won't be more.
So we're not getting Sinatra uniforms?
We're not getting Sinatra uniforms, and I'm not going to ask Chief to come up and croon the item. We then have the GMA Telecommunications and Right-of-Way Service. That's the one that Ms. Mize was just speaking of. That's recouping franchise fees, things like that. $11,904 for Danish shade trees. This is part of the Relief Grant program. Acquire 622 trees for giveaway and use in disadvantaged areas of the city. And the final one is Power DMS. That's a $30,474 annual contract for the software that's used to maintain, manage, disseminate, and track review of internal policies and procedures. That's especially important for the police department because they have to be able to track and document all that for their certification purposes. Mayor, that's as fast as I could go through it.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes.
All right. That's going to close out our work session. We're only 11 minutes behind, so that's good as far as moving on to our regular agenda items. So at this point, I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt the agenda with the revision to item 6, changing east of Alberta Road to east of North Davis Drive.
Mayor, I move to adopt the agenda with the change on number 6, changing from Alberta Road, east of Alberta Road to east of North Davis Drive.
Mayor, I second that.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. All in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries. All right, now we're to item number 2 on our agenda, which is the formal public comments pertaining to current agenda items only. If you have a comment, question, or concern to share about items number 3 through 11 on our current agenda, you will have an opportunity to speak at the podium. Please be sure to state your name and address for the record. You will be given 3 minutes on the clock at the top of the rotunda. And please note that neither council nor I will respond to you, but we are listening. So the floor is now open for public comments for agenda items only. If you have any other comment you'd like to make, you will have another opportunity once item 11 closes out on this agenda. Going once. You need to come forward to the podium, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am, sirs. I'm not opposed to item. Yes, sir, I was going to get to that, but I can do that right now. My name is Paulette Polk. I live at 101 Charlotte Drive in Wellston Hills subdivision. Okay, so on item number 5, I still have some concerns. I'm not opposed to the change to PDR, but Councilman Holmes mentioned about the children's safety in the Lake Joy project. We have concerns, and I still have concerns that came up during the Planning and Zoning Commission. I asked about a traffic light at 96. We are already stressed there as it is without the additional 201 lots. And I was told that the Georgia DOT was responsible for that. Not sure when the traffic study is going to be done, will be done. We asked about the sidewalks as well, sir. The sidewalk is only going to Alton Tucker. It does not go all the way up to the school, so I have concerns about that. Right now, during drop-off and pickup, I personally have to drive sometimes unsafely through the turn lane just to get to the subdivision when headed south on Robert Bryson Smith. So adding stress to all of this with those additional lots is very concerning safety-wise to me. So not sure again when the traffic study or any other study will be done, but I would like to know at some point, and I'll send this in an email, like when those studies will be available to the public to be viewed, or if they're even available. And the other thing is, we're gonna address Mr. Ashley's, Councilman Ashley's also, and asking that the council, while growing the areas around 96 specifically, because that impacts me directly, and we had concerns that we brought up about the home value, that there be a balance that's found between the current citizens and homeowners of that area to make a stipulation that the builder provide homes that are at least front-sided brick to look comparable to the other homes, and that the lots be at least 0.2 acres to be comparable to the other 3 surrounding neighborhoods. And that'll ensure that in the future, when this council may look different, that our home values don't drop significantly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Polk. Would there be any others? Going once? Going twice? The door is now closed. All right, thank you to the comments that were shared momentarily. And now we're moving on to the consent agenda to be discussed by Councilman Holmes.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Holmes, seconded by Councilman Lashley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 4 is an ordinance for utility amendment to be discussed by Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I motion to approve an ordinance that amends Chapter 24, Article 1 of the Code of the City of Warner Robins by repealing and replacing Section 24-6, 24-7, and 24-9. The revision clarified that the city schedule of utility service established update policies for billing, late fees, disconnections, reconnections, and payment arrangements, and affirmed that service will not be denied to new residential customers due to prior occupants' unpaid balance. The ordinance also updates procedures for collecting delinquent utility bills, including the ability to issue execution that may become liens on properties. The full ordinance can be found in the package, and I would like to waive the second reading.
I second that motion.
Motion by Councilman Curtis, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion? I will share that this ordinance is going to be an improvement on the customer service experience our constituents have when it deals with utilities and the payments of such, and also turning on utilities. This new ordinance will require at least 45 days of a bill to be unpaid before there is notice of termination. Did I say that properly? Yes. Before, people were getting notices of termination within the billing cycle, meaning before their new bill came up. Now that has been removed, and it is the right thing to do. We also state when cutoffs can take place by City of Warner Robins personnel. No more can there be a cutoff taking place the day before a weekend or the day before a holiday. Of course, Council and I have been very vocal frowning upon that type of behavior by our staff. Now we are putting it in an ordinance so that we never have to hear our constituents complaining about such treatment. And there are a lot of other great things that we're doing to update this so that our constituents have a better customer service experience at utilities. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 5 is a motion for rezoning petition to be discussed by Councilman Lawrenson.
Thank you, Mayor. I motion to approve the rezoning petition of Orchard Investment Properties, 55.74 acres located at the southeast corner of Highway 96 and Robert Bryson Smith Parkway, from R3 General Residential District and R4 Multifamily Residential District to a planned development residential.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 6 is an ordinance for annexation to be discussed by Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve the ordinance for annexation requested by Qualified Investment Opportunities Corporation for plus or minus 0.59 acres located at Lion Drive west of Highway 247 and east of North Davis Drive. And I would like to waive that second reading, and the full ordinance can be found online in the packet.
I second.
Motion by Councilman Lashley, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 7 is an ordinance for annexation to be discussed by Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance for annexation requested by Wayman D. Evans and Robert L. Richardson Jr. for 25.924 acres located at west side of Lake Joy Road, west of Beulah Church Road, and I'd like to waive the second reading.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Mack, waiving the second reading, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to let it be known that the full ordinance can be found online in the packet.
Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Now we have a rezoning petition for 7.A, to be discussed by Councilman Mack.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to make another motion to approve the rezoning request of the same property from residential agricultural district to planned development extraordinary district.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Mack, seconded by Councilman Bibb. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. I don't know what extraordinary means as far as this goes, but it is going to be an extraordinary development. Extraordinary.
I would say that this is going to be a great development in this area. I think it's a prime location for this particular spot. I think it's going to be a great location.
Any further discussion?
I think this is going to be a prime location and an extraordinary development for this area.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? They said ditto. All right, with that, I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 8 is a resolution for parish construction project to be discussed by Councilman Bibb.
Thank you, Mayor. I make a motion to approve the resolution to authorize Mayor LaRonda W. Patrick to execute the attached agreement between Parish Construction Group and the City of Warner Robins, whereas the contractor will complete the work at the Sandy Run Creek Water Pollution Control Plant. This work is generally described as a replacement of existing Custer rotary drum thickener with an andritzerit. Come on, Monty. Andrews, PDR 1200 unit.
I'll second that, Mayor.
All right, motion by Councilman Bibb, seconded by Councilman Mack. Any discussion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I just want to make sure that as far as the City of Warner Robins is concerned, that we ensure that this project is fully supportable from the beginning to the end with many milestones to ensure that it's healthy throughout the entire process for this improvement. And I'm sure that Monty's going to make sure that happens, but I just want to let it be known that we need to make sure that it's fully supportable upon start and completion.
Monty's got the muscle. He'll make it happen.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 8 is a resolution for a purchase and sale agreement amendment to be discussed by Councilman Holmes. Yes, sir.
Madam Mayor, I bring to you a motion to approve a resolution to authorize Mayor LaRonda W. Patrick to execute an amendment to the purchase and sales agreement executed on September 2nd, 2025 with Mark K. Phillips as successor co-trustee of the Herbert H. Phillips Credit Shelter Testamentary Trust and Alan D. Phillips as successor co-trustee of the Herbert H. Phillips Credit Shelter Testamentary Trust for the property located at 1001 Young Avenue. Again, I move for the motion, adoption.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilman Holmes, seconded by Councilman Lashley. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 10 is a resolution for a purchase and sale agreement to be discussed by Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve a resolution to authorize Mayor LaRonda W. Patrick to negotiate and execute a purchase and sales agreement with the Columbians of Warner Robins Incorporated on 133 South Commercial Circle.
I second that motion.
Motion by Councilman Curtis, seconded by Councilman Holmes. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 11 is an ordinance for the 2025 millage rate and due date for tax payments to be discussed by Councilman Lawrenson as the first reading.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the first reading. Whereas Section 6.11 of the Warner Robins City Charter provides that the millage rate for the city ad valorem taxes be set by adoption of an ordinance of the mayor and council. Now therefore be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Warner Robins that the millage rate for 2025 is set at 8.953 mills. Due date will be March 13th, 2026. If any ordinance or part thereof of the city of Warner Robins is in conflict herewith, this ordinance shall have preference. If any provision of this ordinance are held invalid, such invalidity shall not affect any of the other provisions which can be given effect without the invalid provision. And to this end, the provisions of this ordinance are declared to be severable. The provisions of this ordinance were first read on December 1st, 2025, and shall become effective upon adoption December 15th, 2025. And this is the first reading.
Thank you for that first reading. All right, we have made it through our numbered agenda items. I am going to request a motion to revise the agenda to add personnel to executive session and also add announcements before citizen comments.
Mayor, I make a motion to change the agenda for executive session to add personnel matters along with pending litigation. And then also would like to add announcements before citizen comments.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Bibb. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. So according to the revised agenda, I do need to make some announcements. One announcement is regarding our Christmas events calendar. You'll see these posted on all of our pages, social media, also website. But on the 4th of December, which is this Thursday, it officially kicks off Christmas for the city of Warner Robins. We have our Winter Bazaar starting at 1 in the afternoon at Perkins Field, and our tree lighting celebration will take place at 5 p.m. at Perkins Field, right there at Christmas Tree Park. So remember, Thursday is Christmas, so come out and celebrate with us from 1 p.m. through 8 p.m. The tree lighting starts at 5 p.m. We also have our annual Christmas parade, which was brought back to its rightful place on Watson Boulevard since we became one up here, so since 2022. And that will be on Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. It goes from Davis Drive and Watson intersection all the way down to all the way down to North Houston Road, right there at the Checkers. So please come out once again and cheer us on for our Christmas parade, and the theme is We Believe. If you like Polar Express, then you understand. And lastly, we have our pet photos with Santa at our animal control. Will be from noon to 4 p.m. the day after the Christmas parade, which is on a Sunday. So bring your furry family friends out. The first pups will be there to take their pictures on that day. And we also have our new winter activity guide for Parks and Recreation and Cultural Services. Please get your copy. Great information in there. And lastly, after this meeting concludes, we do have a public hearing to complete regarding our millage rate. So right after we're done with this, we'll be going out to executive session, coming back in, adjourning our city council meeting, going right into our second public hearing for our millage rate for next calendar year. So I wanted to make sure you all knew that information before we exited for executive session. So that concludes our announcements on the amended agenda. We now will move into the citizen comments. So if anyone have any comments, questions, concerns regarding any issue within the city that you'd like, you do have your opportunity to approach the podium. Please be sure to state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes on the clock on the rotunda there. And please note that neither council nor I may respond to you, but we are listening to you. The floor is now open for citizen comments. Going once.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Congratulations on your election, re-election, by the way. Didn't have a chance to do that last week. This is a follow-up on the comment that the gentleman had last week in reference to littering. And I chose not to do it at that time, not last week, 2 weeks ago, since I had not had a chance to discuss with the chief, which I wanted to do ahead of time. I tried to do that.
Sir, before you get too far, we know who you are.
Name.
But if you could tell me your name and address for the
record. Yes, ma'am, sorry.
Thank you.
Alvarez Wong, 1009 Alberti Road. I'm sorry. The reason is it's an issue of importance is because I think it appears to be a very prevalent issue, very common issue. And as you all know, you don't have to be in law enforcement. You merely have to be parents to know that criminality and misbehavior is a matter that goes in degrees, right? It seems like it starts with lack of respect for self, possibly because of immoral upbringing, broken home, or whatever. It scales up to lack of concern, disrespect for your fellow human beings, and school misbehavior. Goes up to property crime, and unfortunately, in some cases, ends up into crimes against persons, aggravated assaults, murder. About a year and a half ago, I remember being here in this same auditorium. The ladies in red on one side, the men in black on the other side. We're talking about the 13-year-old murderers, okay? Very serious situation. So whenever we have an opportunity to address the issue at the onset, it really benefits you because you're not getting into the situation if you don't allow it to get it to that point. I think I'm running out of time, so I'll make it brief. About 3 weeks ago, there was an opportunity to address the littering issue by basically bag of trash, household trash, that someone had thrown in public property. I found it, and among the contents were several pieces of mail that had same last name, same address. So I called 911, misdemeanor crime, and asked the officer to make a report. The officer made a report, and he said that he was going to refer to code enforcement.
I was a little confused about why code enforcement, since it's a misdemeanor crime, it's a police matter to be handled, but appears that he did. I followed up with code enforcement, Officer, I forgot his last name, starts with a P. Very, very courteous gentleman. He could not find it, and today I made a contact with the chief. What I was hoping that Officer Cooley would do would be, in view of the large amount of evidence that was found in the bag, to issue a subpoena to the family, the head of the household, to appear in court and explain the nature of that violation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. We appreciate you. Thank you. Will there be any others? Going once? Okay.
Hello, Warner Robins. Good evening, Council. Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir, we hear you.
First and foremost, congratulations, Mayor Patrick, on your re-election. Before I move forward, my first name is Chris, last name is Holston, address 100 Robbins West Parkway. One of the few matters I just want to make sure I discuss will be, we may want to touch base on what the apparatus is as far as individuals in the city that may want to run for mayor in the near future. The Pappas affidavit states that 1% of the elected voters you're supposed to have as signatures to run for mayorship, and the numbers in which I received does not represent that 1%. To be fair, like I said, to touch base on, the next thing I want to talk about, or more importantly, would be something that's considered a fiduciary duty to both city and council members. Fiduciary duty is essentially the meaning and the basis of doing what's in the best interest of others in relation to what our job duties are, regardless of who we are. And because of said duty, when information is being presented to a city, as in every city has a council and every council has a city, which means this same words can be denoted to every city and or every state in this country, you want to be completely aware of the fact that no matter what ordinances may be implied, or no matter what infrastructures may be erected as far as plans, we can, within a sense, touch base with the daily life functioning of all members of the city through social services, both profit and or nonprofit. And with said organizations and programs, which I hope to have meetings with you guys shortly on, I'll be able to generate a large avenue of revenue for said members on council and said city personnel and public workers who seem to hope to retire, and members who hope to be able to own their properties one day instead of being elected and or subjugated to inflation in this nation. Again, my name is Chris Holston. I will potentially run for mayor for the next election, but that's promise. I do want to make sure I engulf my organization through a Mayor Patrick initiative that I hope to have a conversation with, and I really hope my information don't fall on deaf ears. That's fiduciary duty. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Holston. Will there be any others? Going once? Going twice? The door is now closed. Thank you all for being here with us today, and thank you for sharing your thoughts, making your thoughts known. We enjoy hearing from you. And at this time, we will open the floor for council comments, and we're starting with Councilman Bibb.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's an honor to serve. I think we did some great things tonight for the city. Some big projects that are out there, and going to enjoy to watch them see come live, work, play areas. And it's going to be awesome to see that happen. Just want to say congratulations to all the officers, the 4 officers that were sworn in, and believe that we had a lot of openings in our police department, over 40 some openings, and we have steady closed the gap by Chief Fisher and the city of Warner Robins doing a great job of recruiting and getting people in. I asked him, walked over there just to ask him. We only have 15 more openings available in the police department. So if you're out there and you want a good job, work for the city, come on. Put your application in. We'd love to see our police department fully staffed. That would be absolutely awesome and a great thing to see as many as openings as we have and actually be fully staffed. That's cool. I hope you all have a blessed night, and go Dogs.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Lawrenson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. First of all, good job on the first meeting and reading of the millage rate. And I saw a news article Mr. Behringer was in last week. I thought he did a great job of explaining it. There aren't many citizens that could do that and just really explain what it means, but I think he did a great job with that, and I appreciate him because I think he knows what's going on and because he pays attention. A couple other things, just wanted to point out with the new due date of March 13th, I hope we can really advertise that, which I'm sure we're already doing, to make sure, because I got a lot of phone calls about, you know, everybody's thinking their tax bill's due in a couple of weeks, but it's not. It's all the way out until March 13th, so I know everybody will be happy about that. Give them a little more time, a little more of a grace period there to get those paid. And also wanted to invite everyone to come out this Sunday night. I believe it's December the 7th at 6 p.m. at Second Baptist Church. We are doing our Christmas extravaganza. It's a musical performance, a lot of lights, and a lot of things. I think it's going to be a great performance. Just want to invite everybody to come out and enjoy it. It's free, and I think you'll be blessed. And that's all I have. God bless.
Thank you, Councilman Lawrenson. Will you have one question? Will you be singing? Are you going to do a solo? Which one? Which song? Or is it a surprise?
It's a quartet called Swinging Christmas. It's a quartet called Swinging Christmas, and then I'm doing the Bing Crosby song. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Okay. You have to remind me of the date because I think I need to be there. Okay. Thank you. All right. Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, great meeting tonight. Great job, team. Proud of y'all. I did have the honor to attend a funeral today for a lovely woman, and keep him and her son in your prayers. He's our state representative here for a large portion of our county and the city. Representative Blackman, his mother passed away. She was one of many mothers that I had growing up. That whole group of moms raised all of us kids, and to see what she's been through the past year, she is in a much better place. She is at home with her Savior. But just keep the family in your prayers. And other than that, I do again regret that I'm not going to be able to attend my favorite thing, which is the Christmas parade this year. I will be in Charleston with my daughters, two of my daughters, and my wife and everything for a competition. But I know y'all are going to do a great job. I hope the weather stays away. It can follow me to Charleston. That'll be fine. I'll bring the weather to Charleston. Y'all can have the parade. But other than that, have a safe and happy week coming up with a lot of fun events that I wish I could be here for. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I first want to give thanks to Mr. Drinkett for what you do when you come before us here. In particular, when we question you about the agenda. I think it's a big help when you, the citizens, hear about it before we sit here and make a motion to approve. You hear basically a full discussion of the issues that come before you. And again, I thank you for that, and that's something I'm hope that we're going to continue to do. I know I'll continue to ask questions if need be. I won't ask questions just to be heard. Mayor, thank you for putting on the millage, what you did on the millage rate this afternoon earlier, and I know what you're going to do in a few minutes and later on during the season for tax rates. I'm also appreciative to what we are doing in terms of and what we hope to do, what I hope we'll do in terms of looking at something that we can do for senior citizens when it comes to taxes. As Mr. Drinker mentioned, there are a few cities that are already giving exemptions, and I'm hoping that we can reach that level. That's the question. If I don't get it during the year, I get it now, and I'm sure the rest of the council getting the same thing. Again, thanks to the finance department and the job you do and continue to do for us, as well as our fire department, police department. And Mr. Monty, thank you for the job you constantly do in terms of helping us stay on the upside instead of the downside. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, much love to our three heroes in the fire department. They did a great job. I mean, that's awesome. Looking forward to having another conversation with them, but we truly appreciate everything that you three have done to help protect our citizens here in Warner Robins. Again, I ask that you keep Shaw Blackman's family uplifted in prayer as they go through the mourning process of the loss of his mother. And again, Mayor and Council, thank you so much for keeping that millage rate the same.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say it's such an honor to serve this community. Everybody has a passion to see our city grow and love what it is that the place that they choose to live. So we all have the same passion. We may not always agree, but we all love our city, and that's a fact. So I just want to make an announcement to concur with everything everyone else has said here, that your tax bill is not late, because I've had multiple questions asked of me in that regard. They go out on January 9th and they're to be paid March 13th, so you're not late on your tax bill. And if you own a home and you're in excess of 65 years of age, please take advantage of the homestead exemptions in our city. And if you live in the county or with the county, take advantage of the standard exemptions of $10,000 if you're over 65. So please spread the word to your friends that are 65 years of age or older to take advantage of these tax breaks that are already in place. And I concur with Councilman Holmes with continue to provide aid for our elderly, because they can't amend their income as others can. They've worked their entire life and they pay more taxes than anybody. So I'm in complete agreement that they need some tax relief in that regard. And with that being said, we're so blessed to be able to keep our millage rate the same and not raise. We have one of the lowest millage rates in the state of Georgia per the size city that we have. And this team here is constantly looking for alternative streams of income to offset rooftops as far as our expenses are concerned. So with that being said, just thank this team for the diligence and what they do, the tax team and our finance team. Thank you, ma'am. And also I'd like to concur with the rest of the councilmen with our sincere condolences to the Blackman family, Shaw Blackman's mother, Miss Ruthie Blackman. And I also like to send prayers out to the family of the young man that was hit by a car on a moped this past week that succumbed from the injuries. With that being said, if you're out here riding a motor vehicle in the streets of Warner Robins illegally, no lights, in and out of traffic, no headgear, no eye gear, no registration, that's against the law. And you have to be mindful of, we have to be mindful of pedestrians as it is, but when you're out there operating mopeds and e-bikes as they are on the rise, please be on the watch out for those vehicles as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. My comments come after executive session, but I do want to mention for Councilman Holmes and also Councilman Mack, because they both mentioned homestead exemption. The application term for homestead exemption will open on January the 1st and go through April 1st. So April 1st is the due date. So you've heard two councilmen mention how this can impact you positively. If you qualify, please seek out an application starting January the 1st. All right, so we have completed council comments. We have now come to the point of our agenda where we have to exit for executive session. So I'm going to request a motion.
Mayor, I move to go into executive session to discuss pending litigation and personnel.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Mack. All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. I think motion carries unanimously. All right, so we will now be exiting chambers to go into executive session to discuss the two topics which were just mentioned. You are free to sit here and wait for us to come out. We do not know how long executive session will last. We appreciate you being here with us thus far. And also remember, if you're interested in hearing our second public hearing for the millage rate, it will happen once we get back from executive session. You all have a great rest of your evening. We'll see you on the 15th, where we're wearing Christmas sweaters, so bring your Christmas sweater and participate with us. Thank you. Okay, so we're back. May I have a motion that we go back into regular session?
I move to go back into general session.
And I second it, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Mack. All in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries. I also like a motion to amend the agenda to include item number 12, which is a motion regarding personnel.
I make a motion to amend the agenda to add item number 12 for personnel.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
Motion by Councilman Lawrenson, seconded by Councilman Mack. All in favor? Oh, any discussion? This will be discussed by Councilman Lashley. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries. Okay, so now to item number 12, a motion for personnel to be discussed by Councilman Lashley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I make a motion to approve a one-time payment of $300 for each full-time employee and $150 for each part-time employee, with the city to pay all required taxes and withholdings.
I second that motion.
Motion by Councilman Lashley, seconded by Councilman Curtis. Any discussion? All those in favor, please state aye and raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. All right, at this point, it goes to Mayor's comments, and my comment is, have a great evening. We'll see you on December the 15th. Please wear your Christmas sweaters, council Christmas sweater meeting, and thank you all for sticking it out with us today. All right, and at this point, I say that the meeting is adjourned.